If you've spent the last hour scrolling through endless options for a pan carrier, feeling the pressure of making the right call for your catering crew, you're not alone. The decision feels bigger than it should. One bad purchase means extra trips, cold food, or a cramped kitchen aisle. This review is here to cut through the noise and tell you whether the Carlisle FoodService Cateraide insulated front-loading food pan carrier with casters actually earns its place on your service line. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the problem this carrier is trying to solve. In any high-volume operation, whether you're feeding a wedding banquet, a busy restaurant brunch, or a pop-up food stall, you're moving multiple trays of food from prep to service. The goal is to keep everything hot, organized, and easy to transport without sacrificing space or adding extra labor. Traditional metal carts can be heavy and noisy, while simple plastic trays often lack insulation, leaving food cooling faster than you'd like. The Carlisle Cateraide tries to bridge that gap with a plastic shell that promises extended hold times and a front-loading design that lets you slide pans in and out without a juggling act. Who should consider this carrier? If you run a catering business that regularly ships 10 pans or fewer per job, the 10-pan capacity lines up nicely with the typical buffet layout. Think a protein, 2 sides, a salad, a dessert, and a few extra dishes for backup. It's also a solid fit for a restaurant that does a nightly cooked order service where the kitchen needs to move a stack of trays to a pass quickly. The casters are a real time saver on smooth kitchen floors or banquet hall surfaces, and the ergonomic handles reduce strain when you're pulling a loaded carrier down a hallway. For food trucks or mobile vendors, the compact footprint and front-loading door mean you can load a pan at the kitchen, wheel the unit out the back, and slide the tray straight onto the service window without turning the whole cart. On the flip side, if your operation regularly handles more than 10 pans at once, large corporate events, hotel buffets, or high-capacity school cafeterias, the 10-pan limit will feel restrictive. You'll end up juggling multiple carriers, which defeats the purpose of a single, streamlined solution. Likewise, if your service area includes rough concrete or uneven outdoor terrain, the plastic casters, while quiet on polished floors, may struggle with traction. In those cases, a steel cart with larger, rubber-filled wheels could be a safer bet. Now let's dig into the practical strengths that actually matter when you're in the middle of a service. The first thing you notice is the insulated shell. Carlisle markets extended hold times, and in real-world use that translates to food staying warm for an extra 30 to 45 minutes compared with a bare metal tray, depending on the ambient temperature. For a brunch that runs 2 hours, that buffer can be the difference between a perfectly hot omelet and a lukewarm one that sends guests back to the kitchen. The insulation also helps prevent condensation, so you won't end up with soggy plates when you finally unload the pans. The front-loading door is another thoughtful design choice. Instead of lifting a heavy lid off the top and risking a pan tipping over, you open the front, slide a pan in, and close it with a snap-lock clasp. The clasp clicks firmly, keeping the door shut even if the cart is bumped on a busy floor. This mechanism saves a few seconds per pan, which adds up when you're loading 10 dishes during a tight service window. And because the door is at the front, you can keep the back of the carrier free for a quick peek at the interior temperature using a handheld thermometer without having to move the whole unit. The casters deserve a closer look because they're the workhorse of any mobile carrier. Carlisle uses durable plastic wheels that roll smoothly on tile, linoleum, and polished wood. In a typical restaurant kitchen, they glide almost silently, which is a subtle but appreciated benefit when you're trying not to disturb diners with clanking metal. However, the plastic material does have its limits. On a rougher surface like a concrete loading dock, the wheels can wobble and lose grip, especially when the carrier is fully loaded. A simple rubber mat or a short stretch of carpet can mitigate this, but it's something to keep in mind if you frequently operate in less than ideal environments. Construction-wise, the carrier feels robust for a plastic unit. The walls are thick enough to resist dents from accidental bumps, and the base has reinforced ribs that prevent warping under the weight of hot pans. The ergonomic handles are shaped to fit comfortably in the palm, reducing the strain on your wrists when you're pulling the carrier up a flight of stairs or maneuvering around tight corners. One practical downside is the overall weight of the empty carrier. While lighter than a steel cart, it still adds a few pounds that can become noticeable when you're moving it up a ramp with a full load.